Hi, Daniella. Thank you for including your first iteration. Two versions. Okay, that's cool. We'll look at them both. I've got them both up, as a matter of fact. So I think basically I'm just going to do this because the difference is that one has this kind of ghosted effect on all of letters, and the other one just has it on the first letters of the first and last name. So I, gosh, I'm just going to go ahead and let's go ahead. I'm just going to keep one of these, and gosh, you're going to hate me by the end of this review. And the reason I say that is because I think that you can do a much more effective job creating meaning. As a matter of fact, when we take a look at this, what we're looking at here is pure technique. I don't see, and maybe I'm missing something, and please let me know if I am, but I'm not seeing a real connection here between I can't pronounce that. Subramanian Chandrasekhar. I don't see much meaning between the black hole, the birth of the black hole, or the Nobel Prize, or the area of expertise and study, right? I don't see a connection between that and the special effects that you've placed on this type. And again, please, I do not mean to sound discouraging. I want you to come out of this with the best possible piece that you can. Now, one thing I'm seeing is that I can see a portfolio reviewer or even a hiring professional when that time comes looking at this piece and inside their head going, this student could have done a much more effective job creating meaning on the front of this poster as opposed to just presenting the laureate's name and adding some special effects to the type. Do you see what I'm saying? And to a very high degree, I agree with that. I think that we can create meaning based on the accomplishments of this laureate and applying those accomplishments in some sort of visual attribute to the name here. Okay, there's many examples in the course announcements, and I've actually deconstructed several successful posters in those announcements. So be sure to take a look at that. Now, as far as if you want to keep this a concept, you're more than welcome. I'm just a little concerned that it might not translate well to a review, specifically from a hiring professional. My recommendation is to change your concept up and somehow introduce this birth to black hole into a visual concept for the typography. I want to look something up real quick, so I'm just gonna pause this for 1 second. Okay, so at any rate, I think that the biggest thing here is determining how we can create meaning typographically to reflect his studies on astrophysics and work with black hole. How can we represent that visually using typography in some way other than just adding these kind of special effects to the type? Okay, and that I think is going to be the most difficult portion for you as we carry on. Now, as I said, you're more than welcome to keep this concept if you wish. Um, One thing I would recommend though is the typeface itself. I think this kind of scripted typeface is really difficult to read in a basic word like car or cat or brother or whatever, right? But when you have this complex, really super long name, it just doesn't help that the typeface could be more readable. In that regard, my recommendation is um, to use a different typeface, something that's a little bit more legible, a little bit more readable. Okay, now I know I've thrown a lot at you, but as far as the way that we move forward, again, it's up to you. But my recommendation, let's say you decide to keep this exact concept moving forward. A couple of things. We got some inconsistencies. So if we take a look at the A, we can see this A down here has this bowl right here at the bottom of the A. It's really a lot thicker than the bowls on this A. So we can see somehow with the effects that you've created, we're creating some inconsistencies here. So that's something that definitely needs to be looked into. Right now, I think that you've got this kerned as well as possible. I wouldn't get any closer with this kerning here because it's really going to be impossible. If anything, you might consider opening up the kerning in these letters. The other thing is the space between the S and the C and the rest of the name. That this almost looks like C. Handriskeller. 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 Instead of Chandraskeller, it looks like C. Handriskeller. Do you see what I'm saying? And this, instead of looking like Subramanian, it almost looks like S. Ubramanian. You see what I'm saying? S. Ubramanian instead of Subramanian. Okay, so watch your spacing. And then also think about alignment here. Right now, the whole thing, you're not center aligned, but you might as well be, right? Because this tagline is centered on the bottom line, okay? The bottom word. And then the whole thing is basically centered in itself, but it's offset in the composition a little bit. The problem with center alignment is this, and the reason why I highly encourage students to stay away from center alignment while studying typography is that center alignment doesn't force you to use negative space as a design element. Rather, it relegates negative space as leftover space. And the reason being is because center alignment creates symmetry. Okay, so I know I've thrown a lot at you here. So my main point here is please get with me if you have any questions at all. And I hope my comments make sense. Please let me know. Please understand I'm not trying to be discouraging as much as I'm trying to be nurturing and shooting for a killer portfolio piece when that time comes. Okay, so if you have any questions at all, please let me know. Thank you very much.